This video, Naval Ravikant will share 11 truths in life that can really change how you see things in your own daily life. At least they did for me. I'm Jordan, did over $5 million, hired 50 people, and here is the first insight.
Discipline is really overrated. Discipline is just you fighting with yourself to do something you don't want to do.
His definition for discipline is fighting with yourself, doing things you don't want to do. And Naval thinks it's overrated because there is a better alternative. Listen closely.
I would say it's more important to find something that you want to do and that can be productive.
Find something you want to do and is productive. Now, why is this more important than the common advice you hear online?
Self-discipline it's tough. You won't sustain it. Tiger Woods didn't become a great golfer through self-discipline.
Okay, two things here. Naval was saying that Tiger Woods did not become the best golfer because he disciplined himself, but despite of it. And I think that is very true. More about that later. The other thing Naval said is that you won't sustain things you dislike. And when I look back at my own life, that seems very true. I either stopped doing things that I didn't like, for example doing magic tricks on YouTube when I was 12. I don't do them anymore. Or I actually started to like the thing. But also the opposite. I actually started doing the things that I liked, which is why I was able to sustain it and why it didn't feel like work.
My work. I don't work.
Like Naval once asked, what feels like play to you but looks like work to others? But then how do you find this? And do you always find it fast?
There's some things that, I'm not a very athletic person, so it's hard for me to do workouts on a regular basis that I enjoy. It took me a long time to find one that I did enjoy. And now I like yoga because it's also extremely meditative and it's very relaxing. And it's kind of a trip to build up your flexibility. It makes you feel younger. So I've gotten into yoga. So it's the first time I would say I found some athletic activity that I like to do for fun.
It can take a long time, but that still doesn't answer my question. How do you find what feels like play to you? Following your own natural obsessions, your curiosity.
Whether it's in politics, science, business, spirituality, whatever, history remembers the artists.
Art and artists. But why do we admire true artists?
The artists are the people who are creative and march to their own beat and do their own thing.
I think it's even more than that. I admire artists because they work on something they care about and you feel it. It's inspiring. Maybe because we want to do that too, right? Now here's what Naval said about creating what feels like art to him.
That to me is like the most rewarding thing to be doing at any given time.
Art is the most rewarding thing in life. Well, you can ask that for yourself if that's true. I found it to be absolutely true. I also write about other truths that I find in my own life in my weekly 2-minute email that you receive if you access this free Google Sheet below. It includes all the free tools that I use in my business and personal life. All unsponsored, no affiliate. But back to art. It's a vague word, right? So let's define it a bit better. Listen closely.
It's not done for any external purpose. If you're doing it for money, it's less, you're hurting its capability to be art. It's not to say it can't still be great art, but you're now beholden to other interests. It's like motivated reasoning. It's like true scientists try to figure things out to fulfill their desire to figure things out, right? And the moment they figure it out, it's complete. They don't need a Nobel Prize or a Fields Medal afterwards. And in fact, some of the better ones have rejected that. Or like famously Bob Dylan, I think, rejected the Pulitzer Prize or whatever it was. Like he got some massive prize, didn't even show up, didn't even bother because he knows his music is good. He created it for himself.
Creating art is doing something for its own sake, or better said, for yourself.
But art can't be forced. It can't, in a sense, art is done for its own sake.
And the trap would be to force art. Like if I were to force myself to create a video about something I don't like. I've done that in the past, which is why I found the following so insightful.
The compound interest applies in all intellectual and often even in relationship domains. So for example, your number one relationship in your life, eventually your kids, currently your wife, maybe one of your parents, is going to be more valuable to you than kind of all the rest put together, right? So maybe not so much in relationships, but definitely in learning, your best ideas are going to be worth more than all the rest. My best tweets, the few best tweets, you're only judging your best work, not your worst. So in that sense, being high output is really good.
You heard that? That is why high output is very good. And you create more art when you are curious about it. A good example is creating these videos. I actually created over 12 different channels so that I can create what I'm curious about that day and still be smart about it for the algorithm. Now, many people probably told you that this is distracting or even shiny object syndrome. But what if it could be your way of actually creating more better stuff in whatever it is, and that is the key to also make a living out of it, or a key for that sake.
Which is not to say you can just shortcut to it, but most effort in life in that sense is wasted. but it's both training wheels for the winning one. Plus, you just never know when or where the right thing is going to emerge. So you kind of just have to keep moving.
Yeah, but that still doesn't answer the elephant in the room. Nice Jordan and all, but I need to eat. How do I actually sustain my basic needs and follow my curiosity? Create art.
So I would rather be recharged and ready for my next intellectual or physical obsession than putting myself on the grinder of I have to wake up at this time, then eat my blueberries, and then do my push-ups, and then and just like live a regimented mechanical life. I want to live a very free life. I don't want a calendar. I don't want to be in a specific place at a specific time. I don't want to have to answer to people. I just want to be free. And I think that's how you do your best work. And especially in an age where we have so much leverage in the system, either through code or media or through other people or through capital, the quality of your decision making dominates everything.
Use leverage to make money while following your curiosities, like I do by posting these videos on YouTube. But then don't fall for the following trap.
And again, without any desire for a specific outcome. Because when you have a desire for a specific outcome, you're moving away from truth seeking. Because now you're looking for something. And if that thing turned out not to be true, you're going to try and force it.
Don't fall for the trap of doing something for a specific outcome, because you will create friction, force. And the more forced it feels, the less enjoyable it becomes. But then why do we still do things that we don't really like?
And we can't help it. We're desiring creatures. You wouldn't even be here on this earth if you weren't a desiring creature, right? You just lie there in the dirt and let worms eat you. So you are a desiring creature, but you just have to be careful with your desires because they will take you away from your truth.
Your desires will take you away from your truth. Here's why.
Because true reasoning is unmotivated. It's motivated purely by curiosity. Curiosity just means you want to know the truth. That's all it is. So in that sense, curiosity is the pure motivation.
So following your curiosity is the purest path and the one with the least amount of effort. But also avoid the following trap.
All of us function at our best when we don't identify with anything outside of ourselves.
We function best when we don't identify with anything. Avoid the trap of seeing yourself as the successful entrepreneur who wakes up at 5 a.m., wears a suit and needs a personal brand to be successful, right? No identity is the best identity. Follow your curiosity. You don't need to discipline yourself, or not as much. Instead, discipline becomes a natural byproduct. But then how do you avoid modern distractions like TikTok or the dopamine from corn or games? Like, how do you actually get and stay in flow state easier and more often? Well, Naval shares it in this video. See you there. Talk soon.